Hello, guys, it's midnight again, and welcome to Rotting Flesh Movie Reviews. I'm your host, Billy Pop. I saw this movie in theaters back in 2007, and I really loved it when I first saw it. Things have changed over time, but I still want to give this movie a fair shake. This is Rob Zombie's remake of Halloween. So we officially now have three. No, wait. One, two, three. I want to say four Halloween timelines right now. Anyway, the movie is directed by Rob Zombie, of course, and stars Scout Taylor Compton replacing Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode, which she plays a far more bubblier one. Bubblier. She's kind of a, blonde, kind of, I don't know, blondes have fun kind of character. Pretty much like I picture Rob Zombie picturing his wife when she was younger, which I thought was kind of odd. But we've got Danielle Harris, who's back, not playing Jamie Lloyd anymore. Now she's playing Annie Brackett, Laurie's friend. And, of course, we've got Brad Dorff playing Sheriff Brackett, and Malcolm McDowell playing Dr. Loomis, replacing Donald Pleasance. And Hannah Hall is in there for a cameo. That's for young Jenny from Forrest Gump. We got Ken Foray for a little cameo. Michael gets his coveralls, and Sid Haig's here, and along with Dee Wallace. So we've got quite a few, cast members. Oh, I forgot to say, Danny Trejo is also in it, and Tyler Mane plays Michael Myers. Very, very intimidating Michael Myers. And, of course, Sherry Moon Zombie. Well, she's in everything Rob Zombie does. So, of course, she's in this as well. Now, we open to it's placed in the 70s in Haddonfield, and we get introduced to the Myers family in there. We've got a drunk, angry, pissed-off stepfather type figure who's all busted up from a bar fight or something. And we've got Sherry Moon Zombie, of course, in the kitchen, and a baby at the table, and everyone's screaming and swearing, and Michael Myers is upstairs. He's like a kid, and he's murdering his pet rat, and basically his family took shit except for his mom. And anyway, we follow Michael to school, and he gets picked on in the bathroom. They start talking shit about his mom, because I guess she's a stripper, and so he gets into a bit of a fight, and then next thing you know, he gets sent to the principal's office, and, they find a dead cat or something in his bag, and a bunch of pictures of dead animals he's killed. And so his mom gets called in, and that's when we meet Malcolm McDowell as Dr. Loomis, and he wants to take an observation type thing. Anyway, whatever, Michael leaves school and ends up murdering one of the bullies, beats him to a fucking bloody pulp. It's really gnarly, really well acted, actually. And then he goes home, and I think they should have made him stop talking at this point. I think that would have made a lot more sense, and probably made the movie a little more tolerable for old school Halloween fans, but they don't. He talks still. He goes home, and pretty much nobody wants to take him trick-or-treating. And then the song Love Hurts plays while his mom strips, and he's on the side of the street just sad because no one took him trick-or-treating. And it is kind of sad, and I think a lot of people always make fun of the fact that Love Hurts plays during this movie, and they're always like, why are you playing Love Hurts in a Halloween movie? And I'm like, first of all, it's a Rob Zombie Halloween movie, and second of all, they're trying to put forth that I think this character doesn't feel any love or anything, and I think that's what that was supposed to mean. I think it got overlooked. But anyways, Michael goes home and just starts killing everyone. And his mom's at work, so she doesn't die. He doesn't kill the baby, but he kills his sister, his stepdad, and her boyfriend. Just a brutal fucking scene. Michael gets sent to Smith's Grove Sanitarium, and he talks to Dr. Loomis every once in a while, and it's very cold looking there. A lot of the direction choices, I feel like, took part from Stanley Kubrick. Uh, there's also a scene where Danny Trejo, he plays this kind of security dude or something at the asylum, and he tells Michael, because Michael's in this cell by himself, and he's just a little kid, and Danny Trejo tells him to live inside his head, and that way no one can hurt him there, and whatever. And that's when Michael starts making masks and not speaking. And needless to say, one day a nurse is supposed to watch him, and she turns her back to him after saying something rather rude, and he stabs her to death with a fork, because I guess they gave him a fork. Anyways, we cut to I think 15 years later, more than likely, and Michael's now this hulking giant, and he gets out. Needless to say, there's a very unnecessary rape scene. Dr. Loomis basically doesn't want to be Michael's psychiatrist anymore. He's like, "Oh, it's like you've become my best friend," and Michael's just like, "I don't want to lose my best friend. I got to escape this place." So, anyways, these two guys break into his room. This really unnecessary rape scene happens. Not to Michael, to a different inmate. The two security officers bring her into the room, and Michael kills both of them, and then he goes on kind of a rampage through the hospital, and he breaks out. And, well, from there on, it's pretty much the first movie. We get introduced to three girls, Annie, Lori, and I forget what the other one's name is. The other one says totally, though, a lot, so kind of an Easter egg for the fans. And I also want to say that Michael, even when he was a kid, stalked people behind trees in the beginning, which I thought was pretty cool. And anyway, so he's escaped. Loomis is after him. There's a scene where he's walking through the graveyard, like in the first movie, and Michael's sister's grave is missing, and in its place is a stick with a dead animal on it. And I never noticed this before, but it cuts, and right in the middle of a black screen it says "Trick or Treat," and I was like, "What?" But also in that, I noticed a little Easter egg where we see a grave that says Otis, and I was like, I see what you did there, because, if you don't know, then you don't. But anyways, so we follow Laurie Strode. Her friends pretty much all die almost the same way. There is a scene, I guess, where Michael sets Annie as like a trap, so she's not dead. So, yeah. I don't know. It's pretty much the same movie. I would literally be describing the first review I just did, except, more gritty, essentially. And there wasn't any twist that you didn't see coming, really. The only difference is Laurie shoots Michael in the fucking face at the end of the movie. So, yeah. This was directed pretty well. I've got to say, for what it was, it's exactly a Rob Zombie movie, to the point of almost it being annoying. But it is directed well. I've never had a problem with the way he lit things or designed things or anything. Any of that stuff the mask's cool. I don't know. It was directed like a Rob Zombie movie would be. Kind of more after Devil's Rejects. It didn't look like House of a Thousand Corpses at all, but it did look a lot like Devil's Rejects. Gritty, and I thought that was an interesting angle. I've always wanted to see a slasher movie in a grindhouse way, and I think that's why I liked this one when I first saw it. The acting was amazing. Not all the characters are likable, but Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie Strode, I thought she pulled off being a teenager way more than Jamie Lee Curtis ever did. And I thought that I thought she was really cute when I first seen this movie. So Danielle Harris, she oddly can play a teenager pretty good. It's kind of obvious she's not, but she was still, pretty good in this movie. She looks young enough to be a teenager, so it worked. Whatever. Not a very interesting character, kind of just, paint by the numbers. Brad Dorff was amazing. He wasn't, not amazing, but he didn't get enough shit to be amazing, but he was awesome. Malcolm McDowell was actually really good as Dr. Loomis. I don't think he gets enough credit for that. Truly, I don't even think he watched the first movie. He just did his own take, and I thought he did a really good job. I mean, he's always pretty good. Cherry Moon Zombie, this is probably her best role. I would say she was the best at this, which is kind of odd because she's not a parent, so that was actually acting. And I didn't think she did a bad job, honestly. Compared to most other her performances she does, I would say that this is pretty rank. Fuck, that sounds really loud. Sorry, there's a hissing sound in the background. My computer's trying to explode. Anyways, Danny Trejo, always good to see him. Ken Foray, he was great. Dee Wallace was actually, I didn't even notice she was in it before, but great as Laurie's mom. Hannah Hall, well, she was boobs for the movie, I guess. The effects in this were amazing. Nothing wrong with the effects in this movie. It was like, not groundbreaking, but for a slasher movie, I thought they did pretty well. It was really brutal. The Michael Myers costume was awesome. Yeah, it was like really a lot of aftermath shots, but I liked how they still did the setups for the bodies and it was gnarly. The music was there. It was I remember it being more impactful when it came on and when I first seen it, but they don't really use it the way you're supposed to use it. I wasn't as educated of a Halloween fan before, but they didn't use it the way you're supposed to use the Halloween music, so I can see where fans wouldn't like that. The script was written by edgy 15-year-old me. It was all boobs, blood, boobs, blood, boobs, blood. Like, I mean, it's really hard to beat off because he keeps stabbing her. Like, fuck. Yeah, so whatever. It's paced well, but the subject matter is an odd choice for a Halloween movie. It was the darkest entry thus far, that's for sure. And they made Laurie Michael's sister again right at the end, so that happens. So that obviously carries into the next one. The dialogue at times sounded extremely wooden, and that's because the lines were melodramatic at times. It's also a little redundant and does alienate some of the fans. So I noticed things in this one that I never noticed before, including some Easter eggs and bad decisions. It was my favorite Halloween, but now I think it's somewhere in my third, maybe fourth. I do have nostalgia goggles on, uh, but I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I didn't hate this. It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of the same. But anyways, thanks guys. I'll talk to you later on Rotting Flash Movie Reviews. Thanks for listening.
That Midget production.